Here's an awesome stretch routine to help you feel better. Welcome back to LiveLeanTV. I'm Jessica Guthrow, helping you get and stay lean 365 days a year. So why would I be doing a video about stretching? You may be thinking, I don't need to stretch, I'm good. But are you though? Are you though? So you know that feeling when you're all like tight and stiff and your muscles hurt and your back aches and you just feel like you can't move very well? Or when you're in the gym and you're trying to do a certain exercise but you just can't do it right because you're too tight? Well, stretching helps you feel the opposite of that. Stretching helps you feel looser, more flexible, more capable, and more mobile. So stretching is a really important part of living lean because in order to work out regularly for the rest of your life, you need to be able to move well, and stretching is going to help you with that. So if you're ready to get stretching, let's do this. I'm going to take you through my favorite 6 stretches to help you feel awesome. The pose I usually like to start with is something like a child's pose. I normally do this stretch routine after my strength and cardio training, so I'm already really warmed up, and this pose just helps me get into that relaxed state of mind and stretch out my spine. So child's pose looks like this. Kneel on the ground, open your knees nice and wide, and lay your feet flat down. Sit your butt back on your heels, and then curl your hands out in front of you and lower your forehead to the ground. Now instead of just resting here, you try to stretch in opposite directions. So arms stretching forward and butt sitting back farther towards your heels. Now you'll notice for all of my stretches, I'm not just passive, like getting into the pose and then just laying there. You want to continue to work to lengthen your muscles. This is a key component of actually getting more flexible from your stretches instead of just wasting your time. So as you're in your stretch, you keep breathing and keep deepening the stretch with each breath. So inhale and then exhale, reach farther in both directions. So this way with the arms and that way with the butt. Good. So from there, I'll move on to something like a down dog. So simply tucking the toes under. Now we're going to lift the hips up into the air and press back into our heels. Now, down dog is a really common pose, but a lot of people just get here and hang out. What you want to be doing is pressing your heels down towards the ground and lifting your butt up and back. So really pressing away from the ground and shifting your weight more towards the back of your heels. So this is going to give you a much tighter stretch in your hamstrings. If this feels like too much for you, you can keep your knees bent, but instead of sinking down into your joints, try to lift up and away. Breathe, continue to hold, and see if you can press your heels into the ground. So keep working through the entire duration of the stretch. I mean, you do want to relax your muscles, but don't relax your effort, if that makes sense. So keep working to lengthen and working to relax your muscles. Good. All right, come on down. Now, every time you're doing a stretch, you want to release it slowly. So you don't just jump out of it, but you slowly allow the muscle to come back to its normal length. Next, we're going to go into a forward fold, which specifically targets the hamstrings as well as the lower back. So you're standing on your feet now, and you're going to grab the back of your shins or your ankles to fold your body in half. So just drop your head, let your neck relax. I like to grab onto the back of my heels and pull in. At the same time as I'm lifting, thinking of lifting my sitting bones up this direction, okay? So keep the knees as straight as possible, keeping your quads on, and grab and pull your upper body down to relax. I know this is gonna feel like a really tight stretch in your hamstrings, but the more you work on it, the better it gets. If right now you're here, don't worry and don't force it. It's key that you allow your muscles to stretch instead of forcing them to stretch, because if you force, you risk tearing your muscles, which you don't want to do. That's going to cause a setback, not just from your flexibility progress, but also from your cardio and your strength workouts. So take it really slow and work at the level that you're at, just allowing it to relax over time. Good. The goal with stretching is always to lengthen your muscles. It's not to necessarily nail the pose exactly, making yours look like mine looks. It's to work with your muscle length wherever it's currently at and working to stretch it longer. So don't be concerned if your stretches don't look like mine just yet. Keep in mind, I've been doing this type of work for a lot of years now, and I wasn't this flexible when I started. Okay, we're gonna work on our hips and our spine now in a wide-legged squat position with a spine rotation. So you take that wide sumo squat position, you wanna make sure your knees are at a 90-degree bend, and then you're gonna place your hands on the inside of your knees, push and turn facing one side, and you're actually gonna look over your shoulder like this, and try to rotate your spine as much as possible. So keep in mind, you're still pressing both knees out away from each other. This is giving you that inner groin stretch. And breathe. Oh, this is one of my all-time favorites because it feels so good on the back. Now make sure your shoulders aren't bunched up by your ears. You want shoulders down and back, and then rotate. Good, keep your weight shifted so it's back on your heels. If you're up on your toes, it's gonna be really hard to balance and really uncomfortable. So make sure you're flat on your feet with your heels down and press. Now let's switch and do the other side. Now this kind of active working stretching is very different than a lot of people are used to, but that's what's key to actually getting results and changing your flexibility. If you're not working to lengthen your muscles and you're just getting here and resting, you're gonna see a lot slower progress, possibly even no progress. So make sure that you continue to work as you breathe and give it time. Be really patient. Okay, now we're gonna come into a kneeling half split. So you can turn this into the full splits if you feel like you're ready for it, but for a lot of people, this kneeling half split is gonna be the maximum that they're comfortable with right now. So you're kneeling on one knee and then you stretch the other leg straight out, and you're gonna just grab onto that foot, or if that's even too much, just stay here and support on the knee. Now you definitely don't wanna press down on your knee, so just light touch for support, or you can hold your fingertips on the ground. But your goal here is to lengthen this hamstring. So pulling your butt back at the same time as bending your upper body forward, that's gonna give you a major, major stretch in the hamstring. So just breathe here. You can choose to relax your head down, or you can just stay up here. And seriously, if you're really tight, even just this stretch alone would be enough for you. Hands on the hips and tilt your hips forward. You're still gonna get a massive hamstring stretch there. Now, like I said, if you do want to turn this into the full splits, you could stretch all the way out and lower your back leg so it's straight out behind you, and work on your full splits here. Okay, I won't spend too much time here because I want you to do the other side as well. So coming back to the kneeling position, switching sides. You're either gonna, I do actually recommend starting with this, even if you are doing the full splits, do this for at least 10 to 20 seconds first to ease into it. But if this feels like enough for you, you can just do this stretch alone, even just hands on the hips and tilting forward. The key thing is to get your lower back really straight and flat and stick your butt back. If you round your lower back and your butt is in, you won't feel it. So you gotta really lengthen that area like this. Okay, take the full splits if you're ready for it. If not, just stay where we just were. But continuously working on your flexibility and forcing it are two very different things. So I want you to be really careful and never push past your upper limits of what you can handle. Okay, our last one here, we're gonna go into a stretch that's more relaxing. This one's called the Plow. Go ahead and lay on your back and scoot down to the front of your mat to give room over your head. Now you're gonna kick up and over, come into a plow position. So I like to grab onto my ankles here and stretch my shoulders down to the floor. This really helps me get into the lower back a little bit more. If you feel unstable here, you can support with your hands behind your lower back. And if this is too much of a stretch in your hamstrings, you can bend your knees to the sides. For me, this position with the hands on the back of the heels and really pressing my hips back while staying in the pose gives me the best sensation in the lower back and feels so good to me. You can choose to keep your feet flexed and get more of a calf stretch, or you can point or relax your feet. Okay, and slowly coming out of it, roll down. Thank you so much for stretching with me. I hope this gave you some inspiration and some ideas of what you can do on a regular basis to improve your flexibility and feel so much better. You will never regret the work that you do on your body, and what you do now is going to determine your future experience. So make the investment as early as possible. It's never too early to start. It's also never too late to start. Today is a great day to start making improvements in your health, fitness, and overall well-being. If you like this stretch routine, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with someone else. And I'll see you guys at the next video. Thanks, and keep living lean. Come here, Brew. Thanks, and keep living lean.